This is Nithin Ramachandra from the NR Hour Sports Show. This is episode 947. We are live on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor. I'm joined by a really special guest. His name is Javier Arenas. He's a former Alabama Roll Tide defensive back. He played in the NFL also with the Chiefs, Cardinals, Falcons, Jets, Bills, and he won the BCS national champion. He's an SEC champion, and obviously now after his career, college career, NFL career, he's an analyst now. He covered Alabama football, and he does a lot of great things in the community. So first of all, Javier, I just want to say thank you for joining the show. How are you and your family doing today, and how is your son's birthday?
We doing well, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate that introduction. My son's birthday was great. Family's great. You know, we just enjoying the holiday season.
Yeah, so I want to start off with your childhood growing up and tell our fans you grew up in Tampa, Florida. What was it like growing up there as a kid, and when did you get interested in playing football?
Growing up in Tampa was cool. It was awesome. The weather was great. You know, you can always run outside and play year round. You know, I had 5 siblings, 4 brothers and a sister. All of my siblings and we got into football at an early age. I got in at 7, just because it was something to, you know, do with my downtime after school and on the weekends, and just realized that I was, you know, better at it than most kids my age. And if not that, just I knew I had something. You know, I could quit. I was quick. I can run, and I just loved it and I enjoyed it. So growing up in Tampa was great. You know, I was having a conversation with a buddy the other day, and he from Louisiana, and Louisiana is a pretty big football state.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he recently moved down here, and he said, I thought Tampa would have been a football city, or like Florida's a football state. And I say all that to say I'm just realizing that it's not, you know, just me coming back and kind of working in the community with the youth and excuse me, and just thinking about back when I grew up, I thought it was, you know, me and my brothers, we all played it. My closest friends, we all played it. But in retrospect, it's really not. We just have a lot of talent that come from Tampa. It ain't necessarily just like a football, a breeding ground, if you will. But, you know, again, growing up here, I thought it was everything, football that is. And, you know, I gained a lot of good relationships that I still maintain to this day, growing up down here and getting involved in football at an early age.
Yeah, so speaking of role models, and who did you look up to in the NFL? Who was your favorite player that you liked to watch growing up?
You know, Barry Sanders, of course. I was elusive. I mean, if you ever see me play football, you would see where I get my game from. You know, breaking tackles. I was quick. Barry Sanders. You know, like in high school, I liked the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Deuce McAllister. You know, it ain't no way I can resemble his game. Him being such a big, you know, football player, figuratively speaking and literally. But Barry Sanders, like I said, Deuce McAllister, Randy Moss, just the exciting guys who loved the game and enjoyed the game. So yeah, I gotta say those, just to name a few.
Yeah, so speaking of those positions, obviously you were a defensive back throughout your whole career, but did you get to learn, especially in high school, did you get to learn to play running back or wide receiver? Did you get to learn on the offensive side also?
Yeah, no, didn't learn. I just played it. And yeah, I learned from experience. And that's not a slight at the guys who coached me in high school. I think that they realized the best way to coach me at that time was just let me go play ball. I had a good football foundation from playing and starting at an early age. I just had a good feel for it. You know, going back to when I said I knew I had something different when I first started playing. I think that the foundation and the knowledge of the game at an early age and how it came so easily, I think that was a big part of that, what made me a great player. And when I got to high school, again, so I played receiver and running back in Little League. So I knew what the 2-4-6 hole is, the 8, which is a sweep, 1-3 5'9" to the left, which is I knew all that basic stuff. It ain't at that time in high school. Offenses wasn't that intricate, so you should say let give him the ball, let him do what he do. So again, I learned on the go and just through experience.
Yeah. So what's it like to have as a player? What's it like to have coaches that gives you the green light right away to see how you play, and they don't? What's it like to have that type of coach to give you the green light right away?
It's it's great. It's how you win championships. Um, you know, Coach Saban, it might not look like he give a lot of people the green light, but
Yeah.
he do. You know, he just pick and choose based off what that kid responds to from a teaching aspect. Um, you know, with me, he knew I cared a lot. You know, people would sometimes say that you would curse yourself out before Coach Saban got to you. That's why he never went off on me. He never yelled at me because he knew it meant a lot to me. So to have coaches that kind of give you the green light to go, it means a lot. It says a lot about that player or that individual in particular. Just that they know what they're doing. They're a smart player, and play the game the way that it's supposed to be played.
Yeah, so speaking of Nick Saban, in my opinion, one of the best college coaches ever. Tell our fans about your recruiting process and what was that like, and how many offers did you get, and what was it like getting recruited by Nick Saban?
I don't know because I didn't.
Uh,
Um, I didn't have a lot of offers either. I don't mean to bust your bubble, but you know, I had I think 3 offers maybe: Bowling Green, Florida Atlantic, and Florida International. And I was recruited by Mike Shula
mhm.
at Bama. Coach
Okay.
Saban wasn't there. He didn't get there until
Oh,
my sophomore year. And so again, Bama came the week before signing day, so it wasn't a process.
right.
You know, spur of the moment. And it just worked out the way that it did. But you know, when I did go visit Florida Atlantic, when I did go visit Florida International, um, I enjoyed those 2 schools. My recruiting uh, adventure or my recruiting process or whatever you want to coin the phrase, it wasn't like everybody else's. It wasn't like these kids nowadays. I was just grateful to go on 2 visits. I enjoyed it. And when Bama came calling, I went on a visit to Bama too. I mean, this was all within the last week before signing day. And so I really enjoyed that.
Do you know the reason why most of these colleges didn't look at you? Only 2 to 3 colleges, and how grateful are you that Alabama looked at you too?
Yeah, it was, yeah. I mean, I was short, you know, so that's why they didn't want to take a chance on me. And, you know, being in the game or the business, the coaching business that is, um, I understand why they wouldn't want to take a shot on a small guy. But at the same time, I beat the door in my whole career. You know, it was hard to get into Bama just in terms of, you know, what recruited to the last week before signing day, and then you know returning 2 punts for a touchdown my freshman year, and Coach Saban coming in my second year and still not wanting to play me,
Hmm.
and have to kick that door in, you know, and but you know that's how it was supposed to be for me. I needed something to you know grip my teeth around and go after, um, and so I'm grateful for how my career had what transpired.
Yeah. So how important is it for, especially for a player that can do multiple things like what you did throughout your career? How important is special teams for a player to stay on that field for a full 4 downs or whatever to get more playing time? How important is special teams for a player to participate in special teams?
It's extremely important. And if you're not like a Terrell Owens or Julio Jones, I could name a million other, you know, A+ players. Then you better play special teams. It's
Yeah.
those guys who understand that will have the long career. And it might be a guy that you know that plays corner, um, but you know he's still on team because of his special teams contributions. So it's extremely important. And again, the only people who aren't on the team because of their special teams contributions is your Tom Brady's, your Julio Jones, these A+ players, which it's a handful of them on each team, and you think it's a 53-man roster. Um, so everybody better play special teams, so it's essential. And just on top of that, at an early age, if you just learn to be okay and go out there and enjoy special teams, it won't make it a process when you get into the higher levels of competing in football. We get caught up in our feelings when somebody pigeonhole us into just being a punt returner. Like, no, I play DB too. But if you mature enough, you understand this at an early age, it's a smooth transition. You just continue to have fun out there.
Yeah. So before we get to your Alabama career, tell our fans about your track and field experience. Obviously, you participated in track and field. What was that like for you?
I don't know what's up with you guys, man. You the second person who said something. I wasn't fast like that. I mean, we did go to states, and I was on the 4x1 team, and I was the first leg. It was, I had my growing pains in track too. Florida's a pretty fast city, if you will. There's a lot of guys around here that can really run, and I got smoked a couple times when I first started running track. But towards my senior year, we were full stride. Again, went to states down in Miami, and we lost. I can't recall what our 4x1 time was. That's the reason why we were down there, was because our 4x1 team. But it wasn't just me; it was three other guys, obviously, who contributed to us making it that far that year. So I did it because of football. It was going to help with my speed, and it kept me in shape. So it wasn't me being good at track. It was me just needing to stay busy and productive at the same time.
Yeah, so obviously not going to Alabama, you had a great college career. You won a BCS championship and an SEC championship. What was that like in playing underneath Coach Saban? And tell us about your Alabama experience.
It was great. Playing for Coach Saban was great. The whole experience was great. Learned a lot. You had fun and you learned a lot at the same time, which is what you can all hope for. Parents sending their kids off to college, and young men going to the next level in their football career. But that's not the right word to say. Just going to the next level in life in terms of getting education and going to college. It's everything you want. You want to learn and you want to develop. And that's exactly what happened the 3 years. The 4 years I was at Bama, the 3 years I was under Coach Saban. It was fun my freshman year too with Coach Shula, who's a great coach. But it taught me a lot. If you're really keen in those situations, in terms of being at a Bama or being around a guy such as Coach Saban, your antennas are up and you realize, we're having fun, we're winning, and it's tough. But how is it like this? How is it? Are we this consistent? From a business aspect, you learn a whole bunch of stuff, right? Just the work that you got to put in, what things to cover, so you're not just out there working just to work, how to be productive, what's good for business. If you got bad apples on your team, they have to go first, and you got to have a team full of guys that's for the cause, if you will. The same thing in trying to run a successful business. So that's what it was like, just being around Alabama but 8 years total for as a player and for as a defensive analyst. It was just a whirlwind, an experience, that I'm grateful for, to be quite frank.
Yeah, so you had a couple of great games in your career. You had a 61 61-yard return for a touchdown in the Independence Bowl, and you had a pick six against Arkansas. Take us through those games, and also you broke Derek Ebney's record at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I was trying to win football games. A lot of my punt return touchdowns came when we needed them, and my thought process was, why not me? Why not us? And every time I went back there to field the ball, I was trying to score a touchdown. Simple and plain. If I get my hands on it, I'm going the distance. And it's a choice. It's just a choice you make. Do you want to? It's a choice you make during the off season. It's a choice that you make when when you're by yourself, when you train, do I want to be the best? And you just stay committed to that choice constantly until you get to that point. Like, this is what I did it for. So why not me? Why not us right now? Why can't I make this play right now? And so, I used to love it because I would go back there and I would be in charge. I won't be at effect. I knew when I catch this ball, I'm gonna send this stadium an uproar. I'm gonna excite my to watch this, just watch this. That was the feeling when I went back there, opposed to, all right, let's go hope something happened. No, you put the work in. So, it's my turn to make it happen. And I love doing that. I went back there to really show off, to be honest. And I'm not saying it in a braggadocious type way, but it's just how you got to think when you're back there by yourself. It's as simple as that. You can't have not 1 ounce of doubt in your mind, because if so, it'll creep in, it'll take over, and you'll look like a fool out there. But those were memorable moments. They mean nothing now to me, and the reason why I say that is because my kids, I try to show my daughter my highlights, and she look, and I'm talking about during the best part of the return, she turned away. I'm like, do you not care? And she don't she just care about dad. So, but those were fun moments.
Yeah, so obviously you you won the BCS National Championship and SEC National Championship against Florida, and then you played Texas Longhorns in the BCS. So tell our fans what it was like playing against those two teams, especially against Florida.
Yeah, it was fun. Playing against Florida is always fun, especially when it beat you the year before and you go into the second SEC championship game with a lot of confidence and just knowing that you guys are ready for this particular moment. I got a big interception off of Tim Tebow, which was great. Just again, we will not be denied that year, and that's exactly what we did. And after we defeated Florida, we went out to California to play against Texas, and I had 2 picks in that game. We fired up, man. Again, our mind was already made up. That's again something I learned being at Bama for 4 years. You set your mind to do something, you put in the work to get it done, and it's going to happen. Simple as that. That's what that epitomized that 2009 national championship team.
Yeah, so now moving forward from your college career, what was your draft experience like? You got drafted in 2010, round 2, pick 50 by the Kansas City Chiefs, and what was that like? And then how grateful are you for the Chiefs to take the opportunity for you to get drafted?
Man, beyond grateful. Obviously, they gave me the opportunity of a lifetime. The whole Chiefs organization was first class. A bunch of stand-up guys. Scott Pioli taking a chance on me. Coach Saban, putting his name on me, putting a stamp on me, if you will. Grateful for all of those guys and all of those experiences. The draft was amazing. Just, sat at my house with my family, and a lot of people was there, but I took it to the back room just to kind of be by myself, and just in case I didn't get picked, I wasn't just sitting and looking like a fool in front of everybody. Yeah. So it was a great experience I could share with my kids, when they get to a point in their life, to whether they in sports or they just enter in a career. I could say, look, this is when Dad, entered his career, essentially, getting drafted and going to the NFL.
Yeah, so obviously once you get drafted, so what was it like playing for the Kansas City Chiefs, and obviously a great franchise and a talented roster, and then obviously they won the Super Bowl recently, but what was it like playing for the Chiefs?
It was great. It was somewhat like Bama, just from the aspect of the fans really being in tune and very supportive. Love playing at Arrowhead Stadium, love playing in the cold sometimes. Loved everything about it, just the tradition. Even, the tradition was consistent with Alabama. Teammates, guys I still have a relationship with to this day. Everything about playing with the Chiefs in that organization meant a lot, still do mean a lot, and stick with me to this day. But NFL is different from college. It's big boy ball, and the coaching was a little different, not in a good or bad way. At Bama, it was way more detailed in the league. They pay you to cover, so it's like out the window with this exotic stuff. Go get the guy covered. That's what you get paid to do. So, a little bit of my experience with the Chiefs was overshadowed by, trying to get my feet underneath me. But at the end of the day, I enjoyed it, man. I'm blessed to have been able to play for that organization in particular.
Did you know that they traded Tony Gonzalez to the Falcons and they used that pick to pick you? Did you know about that?
Yeah, I know about that. Some people ain't like that. I ain't mad at them though, but no, that was awesome. And because my first NFL game I ever went to, I think was my sophomore or junior year in high school. A buddy of mine, his mom was in the military, and it was October or November. October is breast cancer awareness month. November, whatever, when we acknowledged the troops for that month, it was that month. I think it was November again. And so they were honoring the military. We got to go on the sideline, and the Bucs were playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm talking, we're in a tunnel, and we watching the Chiefs come out, and I see Tony Gonzalez. So it was my first game ever, first NFL game. And for that to happen later on in life, in terms of I get traded, he gets traded, and they picked me up with that pick. I thought that was special, man. Full circle.
Yeah. So obviously on May 2013, May 1st, he got traded to the Cardinals for Anthony Sherman. And how tough is it for you when the Chiefs traded you and the team that drafted you and believed in you, and they traded you on May? And how tough was that for you and your family?
It wasn't tough. Well, it was tough. It was tough because I realized they didn't want me, but I asked to be traded because I felt like that was the case, that I had no value for them. So I tried to get ahead of the problem. So it was tough, but it wasn't tough because I was so preoccupied with trying to prove to everybody that I was a capable nickel at that particular time, or corner in general. In this game. So I wasn't in my feelings. I was just trying to do something about it. But it was tough from the aspect of having to pick up and move across the country. That, it was tough. That's not ever going to be easy, but we endured it. I shouldn't say endured. We took it on, and it made us stronger as a family.
Yeah, so once you got into Arizona, and when you see a player like Larry Fitzgerald, you got to play with Larry. In my opinion, one of the best receivers, the GOAT Hall of Famer. He should be in the Hall of Fame. But what was it like going against him in practices? And did he make you a better defensive back when you did that?
He most definitely did, and it was fun too, because you get to go out there and let it all hang out. Don't have to worry about getting beat by him and it costing you the game.
Yeah.
It could cost you your job. Don't get it wrong, but my whole point is it was no pressure to go out there and compete against a guy like him. And I had fun. It was tough. It was hard. I got it done sometimes. He obviously got it done sometimes in terms of our matchups. But, after guarding a guy like him in practice, you make a good play on him, or you have him covered to where the quarterback goes elsewhere with the ball. As he's walking back to the huddle and you're walking back to your defensive huddle, he'll ask you, like, how are you on that? Like, what did you see? What did I do wrong? And that was good to see. That was refreshing to see. Just his love for the game and love for wanting to get better all the time. And so I enjoyed that experience a lot.
Wow. Yeah, so obviously, to be honest, this is ironic to me. This is full circle. You got to sign a contract with the Atlanta Falcons, where Tony Gonzalez also played at. So, what was that like signing the contract with the Falcons? And obviously, you played in college. You played in Georgia, obviously in Bryant-Denny Stadium. So, what was it like going back to Georgia?
That was our home stadium in college.
Yeah, I meant the whole thing. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, well, no. We took the Georgia Dome over in college, so we call it our home
Yeah,
stadium now. But it was great, and uh, I enjoyed playing there. Again, I was kind of caught up at that point in my career with not playing. Thought I should have been playing, but I kept my head down and just kept
yeah,
working. And it was just rough not playing, to be honest with you. Like I was used to being out there on the field and contributing, but that wasn't the case. So I had to learn a new way to kind of contribute, which was be there to support my teammates. I played in Atlanta. I did play, but not as enough as I thought I should have been playing. But again, that was just another phase of learning in my career. Again, things might not be going the way that you wanted to go, but you better find a way to contribute for the sake of your happiness and for the sake of keeping your job. You know.
yeah. So obviously, how to tell our fans because you kept moving from team to team. You went to the Jets, obviously Bills, and then you played in the CFL. But what did you how tough is it for you from moving from team to team, getting released, signing contracts, getting released? How tough is that for you?
Um, it was tough, but I knew what it would happen. If you're not playing that much, like look, they might not sign me back. That's besides the last two teams, the Bills and the Jets. I just didn't get re-signed after my contract was up. And again in Atlanta for that year, the writing was on the wall. I wasn't playing a lot. But at the same time, I felt like I should have been playing. So that was the tough part about it. Um, but I'm the type I roll with the punches and I learn as I go. I think that's what gives me value as a mentor and as a coach
Mhm.
at this point in my career, to be able to have enough experience to share and guide kids in the right direction, with good and bad experiences. So I, I don't mind the way my career went because I know it was supposed to happen that way. Maybe not, but just when you go and just live life, um, and not try to control everything, um, and let the chips fall where they may, you pick up, you learn, you grow, and you try to help others from your experiences.
Yeah, so obviously, you also played in the CFL with Ottawa Red Blacks. So, what was that like? What was the experience like playing in the CFL? And obviously, much different style than the NFL. But what was the experience like in the CFL for you?
It was awful.
Oh,
And I didn't like it. Still don't like Canadian football, and negative or not, I don't like it. It's not for corners. It's
mhm.
not for secondary players. The receivers get a running start. The field is like 62 yards wide. I don't know how many yards long, and it wasn't my deal. And I only reason why I went was to make sure that I was good, not playing football anymore. Or I mean, I wanted to just make sure is what I wanted to do. That can I still play? Is my heart still in it? Um, and I went up there, and that wasn't a good place to try to make sure, just because it wasn't football that I've become. I learned, or excuse me, I'm saying that wrong. It wasn't football I grew to love. It was a lot different, the rules and everything, and it just wasn't a good experience for me. But again, if a kid asking me, hey, a team wants to sign me in Canada, should I go? I'm not gonna tell them no, but I'm gonna tell them, look, all right, well, just be ready for the field to be a lot wider, a lot longer, uh, receivers to get a running start. Again, I could give
Right.
my own personal experience as perspective.
So, which fan? I gotta ask you this: which fan base in the NFL or atmosphere reminds you of the Alabama fan base and atmosphere?
Seattle and Green Bay. Green Bay from a physical aspect, the bench seating, uh, it's just the crowd obviously is very engaged. But I guess when I say from the physical aspect, the bench seating, like everybody's packed in there. That's the college atmosphere. That reminded me very much so of playing in the college stadium in Seattle from the sake of just noise. that was the loudest place. We weren't that good in Kansas City.
Hmm.
We started out like 6-0 my rookie season, but after that, it was a struggle. So the stadium wasn't as loud
Hmm.
as it is now when
Yeah.
those guys are in there playing. They got a lot of superstars on the team now, so it's loud now. But when I was playing, it was loud, but they were cussing us out. They weren't cheering for us.
Yeah. So now for you, what's it like? Obviously off the field after your career, you're helping out the youth, and obviously you have your own kids and coaching, mentorship. How what's that been like for you, just to help out these kids and what they're going through, and what if they're playing a sport? What's it like to help them get to their goals now?
It's amazing. It's fun, just because uh, you realize how different we are as human beings, no matter what your race is, how old you are. We're all different, and I like the uniqueness within each person. I like to try to tap in it to see if I can, help that person, go a little further in life, or just equip them with some things that'll take them further in life. I love that and I enjoy that. Also, when I'm training kids, when I'm mentoring kids,
Right.
all it is practice reps for being a dad for me. So it's all around is positive, and I love it. I love waking up in the morning, um, you know, getting ready to do something to help the next generation, because that's what our society will be.
Yeah.
These kids that we're bringing up, and I like the fact that I'm playing a part in it.
I actually, speaking of coaching, I've seen some of your videos you put up on Instagram, the coaching videos, these kids. It's amazing what you do. And I love when former players talk about kids. And would you say, if the right opportunity comes for you, or for you, would you consider maybe being a coach in college football or NFL, or would you just only consider the youth for now?
The youth for now.
Yep.
I was at Bama for the past 4 years. This is my first year not being there, and it's a lot more involved than just helping the youth, the college kids. When we say youth, the players, and rightfully so, it's a lot more involved. But I like it the way I'm doing it. I learned a lot from Coach Saban, and I apply some of the things that I've learned from him. But just time wise, not time management. Time wise, just being at the football complex from 7 o'clock in the morning until 11:30 at night, not seeing the kids. Nah, I was good on that. I gave football enough, but I can still give back to football. Just doing it my way, or just helping this next generation of kids and spend time with my kids. So I don't see myself coaching. If an opportunity came, the perfect opportunity, is it something that I entertain? Absolutely, but for now, I'm very very content with what I'm doing now.
Yeah. So speaking of Nick Saban, I had to go back to Nick Saban. Obviously, you played underneath him, and obviously you covered Alabama as an analyst. So over the years, you've seen this team a lot, and obviously the talent is unbelievable. Somehow he always gets the number one top recruit from high school, or the recruiting class is always good in Alabama. And what's it been like seeing Nick Saban grow over the years since you played? And I gotta the two legendary press conferences to me is Bill Belichick and Nick Saban. So I want to ask you about his press conferences. What's the reasoning behind rat poison?
Um, just it's almost like it makes the players comfortable.
Yeah.
You got the media kind of uh, crowning us, the Alabama players or the team or whatever the case may be, and just gives you the warm fuzzies. Make you feel good about yourself, and you get a little lax, and that's when a team who's really hungry, comes and snatch the rug right from underneath you. To me, that's what he's talking about when he say rat poison. You could listen to all of this stuff that you see on social media when you turn on the tube and you see, them holding Alabama up on a pedestal. You can listen to that all you want to, but it's another team out there that you're about to play this, you know, really coming after you. So that's the rat poison. It gets you comfortable, make you feel good about yourself, and you don't go out there and give it your all and you get beat.
Yeah. So now, what are you most looking forward to this college football playoffs coming up here with Alabama, Michigan, Cincinnati, and Georgia? What are you most looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to seeing Jerome
Hmm.
forward. I said that. Can we make sure we edit that if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Jerome Ford, excuse me.
Yeah.
He's the running back for Cincinnati. He was a kid. He's from this area, Tampa. Went to Arnold High School, and now he's up there doing numbers for Cincy as a running back, obviously. And, he was with us at Bama his freshman year, and then he transferred out, and now he's over there, and he's got that team in the playoffs. So I want to see how we play against him. I want to see how we attack him, and I want to see how he come out there and play against us. So that's what I'm most excited to see. And I'm still in the football state of mind.
Yeah.
It's one game at a time, so that's what I'm looking forward to right now.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it also. I can't wait, and hopefully Alabama gets another championship here. But it's going to be a tough task. A lot of great teams in this playoffs. But so to the NFL side, what are your thoughts on this NFL so far on this NFL season? And obviously, a lot of things are going on with this COVID stuff. A lot of players going in and out. The COVID stuff. I mean, the numbers are rising, and especially in the NBA and NFL, both leagues are having outbreaks. But what are your thoughts so far on the season? And we're coming up close to the playoffs already in NFL.
Yeah, I think I've been enjoying it. I've been seeing a lot of good football games. In particular, watching a lot of the Bucks. So, um, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Tom Brady. It's just encouraging, just as human beings to see, your team go out there and play the way they play on Sunday. Not last Sunday, not yes, last night, but just in general, just knowing, you know, a lot of games the team is in the game with the Bucks. It's a close game, and you just know Tom Brady just basically looking for some motivation. And that's the game being tied up in the fourth quarter. He can easily take it down and score because that's what he does. That's that gets you encouraged to take on a week essentially. So it's good to see good football, especially in your hometown. I love to see it. Um, as far as the other teams go, I check out the Chiefs when I get the chance to. I think I know Pat Mahomes will get it on track if he haven't started already. They were too well coached. He had too many star players. So and then that fan base won't let them lack either. So they're gonna rise to the occasion. Um, who else have I been watching a little bit? Atlanta, just because, or the Saints for that matter. The Saints is a very interesting team. They keep losing all these players, but he's still doing decent. And look, he's pulled that one out last night, and this to me has a lot to do with Sean Payton and that offense, and just having a culture established already. The culture changed not recently in Kansas City, but when I was there, but that when our culture was changing in Kansas City, when we were going through different coaches, it was just the same in New Orleans, and it's still the exact same now. So they got a culture intact that no matter what happens, no matter who you have to plug in it, that they know that player will fit because they signed him for a reason because he fits the culture. The Chiefs have that now. You know what I mean? So it's good to see some teams out there like that. Obviously, the New England Patriots. But now I'm looking forward to see what happens with Jacksonville. I feel real bad for them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is the story of their life. And I know a couple of guys on staff over there, so you hate to see that happen. Hopefully they get retained. If not, it's part of the game. But so I guess I say all that to say I've been paying attention to a lot of different things this year in terms of watching the NFL, just because my relationships that I've gained, since being a player, relationships with coaches. So how are they doing over here? Just in general, just enjoying and watch some good football from good players.
Yeah. So speaking of yesterday's game, this is the first time that Tom Brady has got shut out in 15 years. And were you shocked that this happened? Only 9-0, but Were you shocked that he struggled this much yesterday? And or do you think the Saints were more prepared?
I wasn't shocked just because that's a division foe, and when you play in a division, it's like playing against your brothers almost. You're familiar with them. You're not afraid to go out there and lay it all on the line. You're not playing hesitant, and you're just very familiar with them. You know what I mean? So, uh, I, I I told my pastor yesterday, we were talking. I said, I'm rooting for the Saints tonight. I was like, they have his number. And sure enough, man, they went out there and they was getting after him in the pocket and baiting him to throw some balls and picking it off. So it wasn't shocking to me. But obviously no discredit to Tom. But I think if he heard what I said, he would understand. Look, that's division foe. They're familiar with us.
Yeah, same thing happened with me. My upset pick was the Lions beating the Cardinals, and look what happened. The Lions beat the Cardinals yesterday.
Good job.
Yeah. So I want to ask you. Obviously, I'm a big Dallas Cowboy fan, and we have a kid named Travion Diggs who also played for Alabama. Is it time to give him Diggs Island or too early still?
Yeah, you better trust me. It's too early. Trust me. You don't crown him just yet, even though you ultimately will because he's that good of a football player. But just knowing Diggs, it needs to stay. He just needs to stay locked in and grinding, which he will do and which he is doing. But no, don't crown him yet. But he will earn it. You best believe that because he's that type of football player. I just knew from the first day I saw him when we were at Bama that he had that big playability, not just he was capable of being a good corner, but he was capable of being a game changer, which he's been for the Cowboys.
Yeah. So outside of him, who's your other favorite defensive backs that you like to watch right now?
Just in general in the NFL.
Yeah.
I like to watch Lattimore from last night with the Saints. Levi Wallace, Buffalo Bills. I like to watch Minka Fitzpatrick, Pittsburgh Steelers. Who else? And other guys that I just like. I like the corner for the Packers. What's his name?
Stokes, Eric Stokes.
No, it's another one like Alexandria or something like that. I'm saying his name wrong, but Zaire.
Zaire. I think Zaire Alexander. I think.
Yeah, he's nice. I like him. And that's it right now. I mean, besides outside of my Bama boys, that's it.
Yeah. So obviously, I want to ask you, what's it like for HBCU schools landing top talent like what Deion Sanders did with Jackson State getting Travis Hunter, the top-rated high school player? So what's it like seeing those type of schools now getting into the action?
Well, I think it's good, to see the talent spread out a little more. A guy like Deion obviously get the type of players to those schools. But I like to see it. It's great. I want to see a different team up there battling in different bowl games and just, having more success than they've traditionally had. I love to see it. Will I do it? I almost did. I almost with the FAMU. You know what I mean? So I've always thought, look, it was fair game. From my perspective as a player, I can go anywhere. Like, just because I get a D1 offer from a school like Alabama or Florida, don't mean that I'm not going to FAMU. But I didn't go. I did go to Bama. But my point is, it's good to see the top guy out there choose one of those schools and set the tone. And just let kids know what, now he got to get through and graduate and get drafted, which I'm sure he will. But then kids can really know, look, it's about my ability as well as the school that I go to. Yeah, the school's one thing, but I got to be able to play at the end of the day. And if I can play, I have a success that I want.
Yeah. So for you, what's it like sharing your stories, your experiences, your career on these type of platforms like these podcasts, these shows? And I've seen some of your recent interviews you've done. So what's it like to share your stories now on these platforms?
It's fun. Like it's therapy almost, Um, and again, I'm trying to reach back and touch the youth. And if this is a way that I can get to them as well, I'll take advantage of that.
So before we get to the last two things, what piece of advice what's that one piece of advice would you give to these younger athletes that are working hard and maybe going through struggles or have to take an extra avenue to get to where they want to be? So what piece of advice would you give them?
Um, just do what everybody else don't want to do, and that's put in the work. Everybody, talk the game and they'll tell you what they've done all day long, or tell you what they're capable of, and they might be good at it, but if they don't put in the work, they're not going to obtain the success. And I mean, that was it for me. Just go out there, put in the extra time. It's simple as that. Because you think if it's that easy, why won't everybody do it? Well, they don't. So just enjoy the process. When we won that national championship in 2009, the game was great, but the games leading up to it, the practices leading up to it throughout the year was the most memorable ones. And this is where I developed those relationships with the Mark Incomes and Julio Joneses and guys like that who, we're friends to this day. So enjoy the process and understand how important that part of it is.
Yeah, so the last two things here, our team is part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. He's a former NFL coach. He was the offensive coordinator with Eddie George at Tennessee State. He's now the head coach for Grambling State, another HBCU school, and we're trying to help him prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe and the kids stay safe. So we'll send you the foundation so you can go check it out.
Awesome.
And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and all the essential workers right now?
Yeah, just appreciate their sacrifice. If it wasn't for them, we'll be upside down still. So I really do appreciate the effort that they put towards their job and just being brave. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because that it was a time when this thing was at its worst, and then they had to be out there, on the front lines, literally day in and day out. So I want them to know that I'm grateful for them.
Yeah. So before we close this thing out, would you like to plug anything of your stuff to our fans and tell them where they can find you and what's coming up next with coaching coaching the youth and other things you have coming up?
Yeah. I'm training young athletes down here in the Tampa area. And I'm partnering with a guy named Mark Romanelli right now, and we're testing out the waters. But he's strength and conditioning, and I'm the position specific drills. So that's one thing that I'm doing amongst a whole bunch of other things. But you can find me at Javier Arenas 28 on Instagram, and Javier Arenas 21 on Twitter. I'm pretty sure that's correct, but those are ways that you can kind of check out my work and inquire about if you want to do some joining for some future work. So I'm excited about those ventures in terms of training kids and just testing the water out here, trying to grow my business and surround myself with the right people. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. So if you need any help with your program, the youth program, we're willing to help you guys, and I'm willing to help too. So our team is we're gonna help you guys out with your youth program and all.
Awesome. Man.
Yeah. So there it is. That wraps up episode 947 with former Alabama NFL defensive back Javier Arenas. He won the BCS national champion and the SEC championship. I just want to say thank you for joining the show. It's truly an honor. Obviously, now he coaches the youth. He used to cover Alabama football, and now he does some great things. So please go check him out. Go follow him on all social media formats. This has been an honor. Great to learn your story more, and thank you for coming on. And we would like to have you back on the show at some point down the line so you can meet the full team. But keep up the great work, and thank you again.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.
Hey, no problem.
Hey, when you get a chance, can you send this to me?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.